Hello, this is Lolly. So this is the stack of felt that I had gotten. It's a wool blend and I got it on Amazon. The sheets are 6 by 12 inches. It's a merino wool felt blend, heathered colors. And so I'd been thinking I did want to make some sort of a journal cover out of the wool. And it's been on my mind. I do wish that they were a little wider than 6 because this is my dilemma here. I'm stuck kind of in what size I can make. So what I was thinking is I did trim this one piece off just because I was testing. I want to make 2 different colors inside and out. I think this will be, yeah, this would be the cover like this. And I do want it to wrap around like this with a flap. And it's not quite strong enough to be a cover for a traveler's notebook by itself, so I want to put a lining inside, but I don't want it so thick like what I used for my fabric traveler's notebooks, using that Pellon Ultra Firm Stabilizer. And I know that there are other interfacings that I can iron on inside here that would also make them stronger, but I don't want to run to the store. I just want to use what I have on hand. So here's what I did. I cut this piece of cardstock out of strong stock. It's 5 by 9, and then I measured, I think, 7.5 inches in and drew a line, and I figured out where the point was down here, and I drew lines to the point, cut that off, and I just kind of rounded that corner off there. So what I'm going to do now, I know this is backwards, and yes, there are many ways of doing this. I want to just put this, down here as a template. Trace that template because I'm going to use, this is going to be my stiffener inside between these 2 layers. I'm going to try this. I did think about Mod Podging. These are rather thin. I don't want to have any warping or bubbles or anything. I'm going to use the heat and bond, and I want to bond it to this first and then cut it out and then iron it onto the felt. But I don't want to get it all over my iron, so that's why I made this shape bigger. I'm going to put the heat and bond a little bit bigger and then iron it on and cut it out. Now I did that. I can just see the line that I had here, so I'm going to cut it out. I think what I'll do is I will go ahead and cut this with my fabric blade here to get this the right size. So this needs to be just enough larger, like sticking out 1/4 inch all the way around. So I'm going to go work on that. So I have this trimmed, and I'm going to peel off this, the paper lining here, and iron this to the wool. There we go. Okay, I'm going to center that, iron it on, and then I'm going to iron on another layer of that, heat and bond to that so I can iron it to this. Okay, so I have the first level ironed on to this. What I want is to have my cover look like this with the darker charcoal sticking out from behind it. And I want to have the edges pinked a little bit. I'm not sure I actually saved enough room for that. You know, we measure, but it's not always perfect. So I'm going to use this Tim Holtz ruler here to add 1/4 inch. I'm putting the metal side outward, marking 1/4 inch right there. Just want to show a little bit of the teeth showing out from that pinking. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to press the extra heat and bond to this and then peel it off and iron it to that. Those are fused together, but what I want to do now is top stitch along here. Oh, that is so cute. The only thing is, you know, like I said, it's my first one, and I would have liked to have a little more of the dark gray showing through on the other side. Anyway, here's what I was thinking. A traveler's notebook like this with the flap coming over. So now I do have measurements that I had kind of sketched out on paper. Using the light gray, not the charcoal, I had my cover was going to be 3.5 inches in with a 3/4 inch spine. So I'm wondering if I can score this at all since there's paper under it. Let's see about that. And I think that would help me to be able to locate my, where I'm going to have that spine. But I'm going to start here. Okay. This is what happens when you're making this up as you go along. Okay, so what I want here is, I know you can't see these lines, so let's see if I can make them darker. Okay, I'm going to measure up just a tiny bit of the way up. Let's see. I'm going to do 1/4 inch up. That's 1/4. Okay. And 1/4 this way. Eek. And now, how far in to do my, I'm going to do them right there. And so these are 1/4 inch in from either side. That'll do it. And that's where I'll put my holes. So I need a punch. Okay. I think what I'll do is, usually I just punch holes and then I lay this on here and I draw the line, draw the holes, and then punch through there. But I don't think I'm going to do that this time. I think I'm going to try and be sneaky and just punch right through the pattern. Okay. Okay, so now we need the grommets or the eyelets for this. All right, let's go ahead, and before I put the elastic in, I want to look at, give this a little bit of a fold here so we can start, and a little bit of a fold here. Okay, and measure, it's right before this flap here is where I'm going to fold it, it looks like. Right about there. Oops, you know what I forgot? Right. Is that I have to have it come up and over. So, yeah, right about there. Right about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a snap in here. But I think what I want to do is cut some flowers out in felt and put those on with the snap too. Okay, I have these 2 layers. I think those would be really cute right there. Oops. Really cute for that. Okay, so I cut out 2 more flowers and a little leaf thing. I think I'm going to put them there. Alrighty, let's look at the snaps. I bought these plastic snaps, and the only problem is they're all very bright colors, so I have to kind of see if there's anything that won't be too much of a hindrance. So this kit comes with this piercer, and it comes with the setter. Now these are really soft plastic, so it's really not that hard to to get it put together. You don't have to use the force that you do on a metal eyelet. Okay, you need 4 pieces to do this. Let's see if we can clear up a little room here. You need 2 of these that have the little prong on them, like that. 2 of those, and then you need 2 of these, which are called the male and female ones, like that. This one's got more of a, kind of a, there you go. There you can see it coming off of there. And this one has a recessed. So concave and convex. And when you lay this on there where you want it, you don't have to do it this way. You don't have to have that on there. You're supposed to be able to poke a hole where you want this, but I have a feeling the felt is just going to swallow it all up. I'm making sure I don't poke my fingers. And I'm not sure, this might be too thick. You know, I have 4 layers of felt here. That's something I hadn't thought about. Ooh, yeah, this might be a little too thick to go through all these layers because, yeah, that's going to be an issue. So I know when I was reading the reviews that it was a problem. You couldn't go through too many layers, and I have too many layers here. So all I need to do is put the, this is the concave one. I'm going to put it down like that. So you can see this right there. And then grab the tool, and this cup shape is what this smooth snap goes into. Like this, and oops, and just squeeze it. It's gently, not hard at all. And I'm sending these flying. Okay, so now I had the other part. That was the concave. I need the convex, the one that sticks up. So over here, what I meant to do is poke the hole through both of these at the same time. And this has to come through the bottom now. Okay, so I put a little fabric tack on there to hold them down while I'm sewing. I had this feather dye, and I was just thinking of the shape of this. Would that be sufficient to cover up enough of the threads that it wouldn't be so obvious that that's what was going on? That might be. There, very cute. Okay, we need some elastic. Okay, so what we need is some kind of an insert to go in here. Alrighty, let's see what I can come up with. And I could put 2 inserts on each elastic as well, instead of just sticking with the one, but just for demo's sake, I wanted to have something in here to show what it would look like. Okay. Okay, there are the 2 inserts right there. This folds around. I still have growing room. As you can see, I have plenty of growing room in there. So 2 inserts on each elastic would work just fine. And I love it. All I would do next time would be to make this a little bit longer. And so I think the dimensions I used with the light gray, the dark gray was a little bigger. The light gray, I will figure that out again. So anyway, really cute. And I can see that I do have room to make the inserts 3.5, but it would be kind of pushing it. Anyway, that's the beauty of doing this, is you can always make them the size you want. So let me figure this out, and I will give you the dimensions for this to do it, so that will hold a standard, I think passport size is what I was going for. Okay, quickly I wanted to show you that I did glue buttons on there. I put some baker's twine on them and glued them on with E6000. I think it is adorable. Now, I didn't want to try and explain the directions underneath the video for the proper dimensions, so I'm going to show you right here. The cardstock that I used as the liner between the 2 pieces of felt would be 4 3/4 inches by 10 3/4 to the tip. And then you would draw a line 9, I think 9.5 inches in, yes, 9.5 inches in, and then draw us the line, a point right in the center of this end on this paper, and then draw a line from these marks here to that point and cut off the excess. That is the little flap that goes around here, and I'll tell you what to do if you don't want this flap. You would just make this 8 1/4 this way and totally forget about this whole flap area. So this would be, let's see, it would be 4 3/4 by 8 1/4 if you don't want a flap on yours, if you just want the sides to be even. So this is the cardstock. The first piece of felt, which is the cover, this is the basis of what our actual cover size will be. It needs to be 1/4 inch bigger all the way around, which makes this piece, the first piece of felt, or your cover piece, 11 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you can see how that's 1/4 inch all the way around. Pretend this is felt, and then all you need to do is go 1/4 inch from here out and cut it, 1/4 inch from here out and cut it. Okay, now once you have that, then the inside felt, if you want this sticking out, it's 1/4 inch beyond this. So your darker felt, or your inside felt, would be 11 3/4 by 5 3/4. These dimensions I will put down below. That'll be the cardstock, and that'll be the cover felt, and that'll be the inside felt lining, if that makes sense. Now, on your cover, so this is the gray or the light or the cover felt. I keep this because this is going to help you figure out how to fold this when you're all done and where to put your holes. So let's open this up. Once you've got it, you can turn it around this way. You're going to line this up with that cover felt, okay, like that. You'll see the size is a little different because I've reconfigured it. Okay, so you're going to line it up, and that's going to show you where to do your holes, like that, and where to fold. And what I did was I measured, I think, 1/4 inch in this way, drew a line like that. I did 1/4 inch in this way and 1/4 inch in this way from these lines, and that's where I got my hole measurements. So, and if you want to do a hole here for a center elastic instead of this snappy thing or Velcro, whatever it is you want, you could also just put an eyelet right in here and put a ribbon there and wrap the ribbon around. So that's another option. But if you want to do a hole right in here, that's half of 5 1/4, would be, okay, 2 1/2, and then 1 mark over, so 2 5/8 in from the very edge would be the center mark. Okay, I hope that makes a little more sense. So I will leave you the directions down below for the proper size of this, so that you're not having this gap right here, and so it will fit the standard passport size inserts. I just kind of went with the size of felt. That's the biggest TN that I can get with this size felt. Thank you so much for watching.